Well, back at it again, boys and girls. Pandora's box was opened, and we're on the verge of either penny-pinching every last dollar to afford the next poorly rendered, bug-infested game from our once-beloved studios, or to continually see the slow decline and collapse of AAA titles as we know it. Thanks a lot, Nintendo. Your greedy ass is the one that started this whole mess in the first place.
Greed is good.
To be fair to Nintendo, even if I don't want to, games have already seen it increased since a few years back, going from $60 to $70. And with the continuous conversation about GTA 6's price point going up to $100, people have already started to worry. Even so, after Nintendo's announcements for their Switch 2 and video game titles to be priced higher, much like the Mario and Donkey Kong series, see my Nintendo video here for more information on that, gave other studios an opportunity that they've been hoping for to raise the price on their own games, since some of them will have titles that will be available on the Switch 2 as well. Fuck, it's not even just game studios now. Microsoft has already announced that they will be raising the price on their own consoles, controllers, and accessories going forward.
You suck!
The conversation about games costing more have been an ongoing one, leaving many frustrated in the lack of care some of these companies have for their player base. Enter in Randy Pitchford, the current CEO of GearBox. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Randy here, but if not, how about a brief reminder? You see, Randy Pitchford is no stranger to controversies. The man's been involved in several during his time in the actual industry, like the thumb drive incident, where apparently Randy left a USB drive at a restaurant that not only had sensitive data about Gearbox's future projects, but also housed a not safe for work files with heavily implications that the material were underage in question. Here and vice versa, Gearbox was served with a lawsuit, but later were exonerated by a counselor explaining that the evidence actually showed Randy's innocence. Another incident is when the VA for Claptrap accused Pitchford of assaulting him over a dispute they had about the voice actor receiving higher pay for his role. Ultimately though, he did end up leaving both the role and the company, cutting all ties with them. And of course, we can't forget the composer, who was supposed to receive royalties from Gearbox after they used his music in some of their video games, but never saw a cent of it. Randy, apparently like a lot of other developers, CEOs, and art directors, can't seem to keep his mouth shut, often getting into Twitter spats with online randos or fans. Thus begins our current topic of today's video. You see, Randy Pitchford alongside other Gearbox employees were at a press event talking about Borderlands 4, during which an ex-user left a comment to Randy saying the following.
Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't gonna pay $80 and feed the notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have say with the price when it comes to your publisher.
A lot of people can understand this guy's sentiment. So, with the ever-growing number of annoyed and outraged gamers, you'd be hoping for the industry icon like Randy would handle this with the subtlety that is needed to help quell everybody's
Hey, not my call. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starlight for the Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991, when I was just out of high school, working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen.
After a comment like that, the same user who first commented on Randy's post replied. Now, he did delete the original post, but he made another one soon after. The comment reads,
Deleted the second post because I realized it was a bit cringy. I played BO since 2009, bought even Headhunter, DOC, Season Pass, everything since 2009. Real fan? Fuck off, Randy.
Off I shall be, but I will return.
As one would expect, Randy's comment was immediately met with backlash from gamers on X, reposting and commenting on his original post, sharing their frustrations and annoyance with his out-of-touch tweet. One could say they were sharpening their pitchfords. Yeah, okay, I just let myself out after that one. Fuck. Now, I will be charitable here to Randy and say that he probably meant this more as a comment reflecting the idea that if you truly desire something, you'll do whatever it takes to obtain it. In this case, as a fan of Borderlands, you'd save up money, put some to the side after a paycheck or something from your allowance, maybe even sell some of your older games to get this one. But, and this is a big but, Randy has the wrong impression as to why this comment flies in the face of gamers. But before I go into that, I want to add in one more thing Randy did recently that adds to this controversy. You see, Randy shared a video on his X account the day after his initial post. This was a GearBox panel that took place on May 8th during PAX East, where he was asked a similar question to the price of Borderlands 4. His response was a bit too long for me to share it the way I usually do. I'll leave a link in my description of this video of the post he made on X, as well as the whole PAX East video so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But essentially, he said he doesn't know about the current price of the game and where it will be placed at, mentioning that some of those at the top don't want the gamers to be priced out of it.
Right.
He talks about the competing market of other games, the tariffs, and the increased cost of developing games these days. I don't know about you, but it sure seems like he's softly implying that whatever the game's final price would be, it'll be reasonable because of X factors.
There is no Carol in HR.
He also made sure to add that Borderlands 4 has cost more in terms of money, hours, and development than the previous titles. Now, I have heard that some people say that this post gives his original "you're not a true fan" comment a bit more nuanced, but I'll say that's a load of horseshit. The man mentions over and over again he doesn't know its price. He doesn't know? Really? No, he knows, and then he just casually drops that pre-orders will be available soon. He's been given a number, or at the very least a ballpark idea. There's no way he doesn't know anything with Borderlands 4 being released soon. I highly doubt this close to the actual release date, they wouldn't have actually already finalized the price tag. But, jumping back to my previous point I made about Randy having the wrong impression, and that is the fact that he believes in our current climate of the video game industry, Borderlands 4 is worth the potential high price tag. How often have we heard this song and dance from people in the industry before? Why are you attacking us? We've put in so much time, so much effort, so much money into developing this game for you. And I'm sure you have. Just like I know you know, gamers are very reasonable and sympathetic to those type of struggles. We understand the level of difficulty it takes to develop a game. The pressure some devs, artists, directors feel when the company heads are breathing down your neck. The crunch time and the extra hours you have to possibly put in. Most people are sympathetic because they understand how demanding a job like that can be. Remember, most average gamers work typical 9-to-5 jobs. They are typical blue-collar workers that work in construction, clerks, grocery, etc., etc. We want the end product to be as good as the studio presents it as. But if it's a poorly developed mess filled with horrendously awful characters and piss-poor narrative, then all that work and hours, or lack thereof, amounts to nothing. And now your company's reputation going forward will have that blemish on its name. Will some people probably still pre-order and purchase Borderlands day of? Of course they will. Borderlands, to many, is still a very beloved franchise. However, its popularity has been on the decline lately. Borderlands the pre-sequel didn't do so hot after its release, neither did Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Both just fell by the wayside. And in Borderlands 3's case, it slightly did worse than Borderlands 2 in sales, but was pegged as the worst in terms of narrative, character writing, and humor. On top of that, outside of the Borderlands franchise, GearBox doesn't have many games to its name. Remember Duke Nukem 3D? Or how about Aliens Colonial Marines? Two games that fell completely. Some people even wrote articles about how Randy purposely ruined those games. On top of all this, even the most recent trailers of Borderlands 4, it doesn't seem like they've made many changes to the game's core gameplay since the original conception. There's definitely some additional mechanics like the grapple gun and interacting with certain objects in the environment, but would that alone warrant a game being priced at $80? And that's $80 American. Boy, if you live in Canada, that's like 110 Canadian dollars. Why should I, a customer, spend potentially over $80 on your game when I can just easily play another looter shooter, like Warframe, First Descendants, Helldivers 2, which offer a wider variety of customization, exploration, missions, weapons? Fuck, you don't even need to use the same genre. Going back to the statements you made during GearBox's PAX panel as to why the pricing of Borderlands 4 will be so high, you brought up the higher budget that was given for developing Borderlands 4. And I'm pretty sure you also stated that it was more than double than what was used for Borderlands 3. So sure, let's look at that. So, Bethesda just released Oblivion Remastered. The game was polished beyond belief, updated graphics, adding new features, new dialogue, while still maintaining much of what the original game was like. It charged $50 for it.
I'd buy that for $1.
The team behind Expedition 33. Brand new game just released a couple weeks ago. Expansive world, multi-layered turn-based combats, gorgeous graphics, beautiful voice acting. You know how much they charge for their game? $50 fucking. Bro, Astrobot, Game of the Year, was released for $60, and the team behind the game are still making more content for it. To add insult to injury, Michael Douse, a dev from Larian Studios, posted on his X account replying to someone who was talking about Randy's initial post. He wrote the following.
Inflation exists. We give inflation bumps, for examples, to employees, and prices increase can make sense. But saying, we your fans will find a way, is gross, because it assumes your game is more important during a cost of living crisis than, for example, making it day to day.
Douse would then continue to have a small Twitter exchange with the person he was responding to, but after that there's not much else to say. After all this, does Randy deserve some of the hate he's been getting? Probably. As for me, that's probably where I'm going to be ending it. There isn't much else to talk about for this subject. I've spoken about everything I can. We won't know anything else that develops from it until the actual game, Borderlands 4, is released and GearBox is given the official pricing. From there, we'll just be able to look at the actual metrics of how well the game sold, and then actually look at the game itself, see if it was even worth a damn. But I doubt it. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed my little rants throughout my video. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, just click on the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that we get all notifications coming from my channel and new uploads. Don't forget to like the video. You can comment down below, talk about how I did, talk about anything mistakes I made, so on and so forth, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching and listening. This is Dula, wishing you all a good morning, a great afternoon, a wonderful evening, and a blessed night. Take it easy.